At family dinner, his stepsister suddenly stood up to propose a toast. I'm pregnant, and it's Michael's baby. Thank you, Grace, for your generosity, giving someone who prefers not to marry like me the chance to be a mother. Marcus and Margaret's faces lit up with joy. Before they could speak, I abruptly stood up and splashed a glass of wine over Chloe's head. Say that again? Seeing my expression change, Michael quickly tried to smooth things over, pulling me back. Grace, don't get angry yet. Chloe is just joking around, playing a prank. Right, Chloe? Aren't you going to apologize to Grace? Chloe's eyes welled up with tears, and her body trembled. Yes, I was just joking, Grace, please don't be angry, but I could clearly see she wasn't joking at all. Marcus and Margaret were surprised by my strong reaction and quickly explained. Grace, don't worry. Chloe has been spoiled by us since she was little. It's all Mom's fault. When we used to bring Chloe home, I'd always say she was Michael's childhood fiancé. She heard it so often, she just got used to joking about it. Marcus lit a cigarette, his gaze sweeping over Chloe, then immediately stubbed it out, a fawning smile on his face. Yes, when they were little, they even slept in the same bed and were practically inseparable growing up. This joke has been going on for over 10 years. Michael's sudden marriage meant Chloe hasn't quite gotten used to it yet. The little girl just loves to liven up the atmosphere at the dinner table, don't take offense. Michael didn't take it seriously, chuckling carelessly. Chloe used to play house when she was little and insisted I be the groom, and she always called Mom and Dad, Marcus and Margaret. I used to tell her off, but she never listened. Now look, Grace misunderstood, didn't she? Chloe, don't make such jokes anymore. What do you mean, someone who prefers not to marry? How old are you? What do you know about not wanting to marry? He rested his hand casually on the edge of the table, but didn't forget to hand Chloe some tissues. Grace, I know I was wrong. I won't say it again. It's all my fault for not getting used to Michael being married. I promise it won't happen next time. My nails dug sharply into my palm as my gaze dropped. My eyes fell on something peeking out of her bag, still bearing an official hospital stamp. She was clearly not joking. Is that so? Well, I have a surprise for everyone too. I'm pregnant as well. I smiled faintly, the warmth not reaching my eyes. Michael's body stiffened in disbelief. What? How is that possible? When did this happen? Why didn't you tell me? I blinked innocently. The baby isn't yours, why should I tell you? I also met a kind stranger who knew I hadn't had children in 2 years of marriage, so he helped me out. Young men certainly have good stamina. It worked on the first try. Michael, next time, come with me to thank him. We can't let him go through all that trouble for nothing. Michael instantly erupted in rage, standing up and splashing wine all over my face. Grace, do you know what you're saying? You're telling me I'm being cheated on? Marcus and Margaret watched, their faces tense with anticipation for my answer. The wine dripped from my hair into my collar, and I laughed even more wildly. What, only your sister is allowed to joke around and liven things up, but I'm not. We both relied on kind strangers for help, and mine was even a complete stranger, shouldn't I be even more grateful? Michael grabbed my wrist. Are you sure this is a joke? We're going to the hospital right now for a checkup. He urgently pulled me towards the door. I stopped, my face icy. See? When the fire wasn't burning him directly, he was perfectly happy to pass judgment. It turned out he couldn't tolerate betrayal either. Margaret clutched her chest, quickly taking her medicine. You scared me to death, Grace, you're speaking without restraint. I looked back at her seriously. CHL. Oe speaks the same way, doesn't she? I thought that was a tradition at the Taylor family dinner table. Marcus instantly couldn't sit still. Chloe is so young, she's your sister. You're the elder. What kind of talk is that? Are you really determined to anger us to death? Michael finally calmed down. Grace, apologize to Mom and Dad and Chloe. I stared at him coldly. No, I don't think I did anything wrong. You had no reaction when Chloe said it, so I thought you liked it that way. My gaze swept over their faces, and I didn't want to stay another second. Turning to leave, Michael grabbed me, refusing to let go. Grace, this is the Taylor family dinner. Try walking out on us. Chloe is my sister, how can you be like her? Yes, Chloe was his sister. So she could wear my wedding dress at the wedding, disguised as being naive and just playing around. She was his sister, so she could brazenly lie on our marital bed to sleep, claiming it was a good fortune tradition. Just because she was his sister, I had to tolerate her constantly. She joked about me being a frumpy wife, and I had to tolerate it. She made passive-aggressive remarks about my age, and I had to tolerate it. In 2 years of marriage, I couldn't count how many times I had endured her. Now, I refused to tolerate it any longer. I spoke coldly, "Michael, let's end this." Michael froze, not reacting for a moment. Even and Margaret panicked. Chloe quickly stepped forward, taking my arm, and said ingratiatingly, "Grace, I know you're just saying this in anger. We've only been married 2 years, still in the honeymoon phase. Why talk about divorce? It's all my fault, I know I was wrong. I won't say anything like that again, okay? Blame me, after all these years I still like to rely on my brother." I was out of line. She pulled me with one hand and tugged Michael towards me with the other. "Michael, hurry and coax Grace. Otherwise, if Grace really gets pregnant later, you'll cry too late." "What, do you really want me to be your childhood fiancé? I don't want to marry." She kept exchanging glances with Michael. The next second, Michael caved. "All right, Grace, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said harsh words to you, shouldn't have doubted you. Stop fussing, just do it for my sake, okay? Mom and Dad are watching." I stared at his anxious, perfunctory expression and suddenly laughed. He even needed Chloe's permission to apologize and comfort me. "See? This is why I want a divorce. Michael, I've had enough." I shook him off and got into a car, this time without looking back. Michael didn't follow. Instead, he posted a set of family dinner photos on Facebook without me. The family of 4 looked joyful and harmonious. After I left, Chloe took my place, sitting beside Michael. When they clinked glasses, she deliberately brushed his hand. Their eyes met, and the ambiguous atmosphere stung my heart. The only comments beneath were Marcus and Margaret's blessings. "We'll always be a family, never apart." At 1 a.m., Michael returned. I lay in bed, awake but unwilling to open my eyes. I had given him countless chances. Even I found it ridiculous. Perhaps that's how women are, they say harsh things, but their actions always give him an easy way out. I even thought, if he had just abandoned Chloe and chased after me at that moment. If he had promised to keep his distance from his sister, we could have continued. But in the end, it wasn't to be. Michael braced his hands on the edge of the bed, slowly lowering his head, close to my ear. "Grace, I know you're still awake. You didn't eat well at dinner, Mom and Dad asked me to bring you some. Get up and eat, okay?" Receiving no response from me, he sighed deeply. "Actually, Mom and Dad treat you like family too, otherwise they wouldn't have gone to all this extra trouble. The 2 elderly people are getting old, what conflicts can't be talked through?" My hands under the covers clenched into fists. I tried my best to keep my breathing steady. I was waiting for an apology from him. Unfortunately, he still didn't understand. The conflict wasn't between me and Marcus and Margaret. It was an issue between the 2 of us. I waited for a very, very long time. Until there was another person beside me, until the other half of the bed sagged. Until his breathing became steady, and he was completely asleep. Still, there was no apology. Looking at his back, tears suddenly fell. Perhaps, it really was time to end it. At dawn, he got up, washed, and went to work as usual. Before leaving, he pressed a kiss to my forehead. "Good morning, wife." His tone was calm, as if everything from yesterday had never happened. I watched his retreating figure as he left the house, the words I hadn't spoken swallowed completely. "Actually, I didn't lie to you. I really am pregnant." For the next 2 days, we fell into a silent Cold War. He went out, I stayed home. He came back, I left. He still ordered takeout food from the same place for me, still without the note to omit scallions and ginger. If I didn't say anything, he wouldn't even notice I was angry. On the 3rd night, he received a phone call and rushed out, so hastily that he forgot to turn off his laptop. Staring at the screen glowing in the dark, I, inexplicably, sat down at the laptop desk. WhatsApp hadn't been logged out, it was still syncing messages from his phone. There was only one pinned contact, labeled "My Princess," and I, his wife, had been pushed to the very bottom by messages from the office group chat. No matter how I scrolled, I couldn't find myself. Clicking into the chat, Chloe had called him via voice 10 minutes ago. Followed by a hospital medical record, she had fallen and disturbed the fetus. "Michael, the baby won't be lost, will it? This is my first pregnancy, I have no experience, can you please come and stay with me? It's all my fault for being careless, If only I had been more careful walking. Michael always had endless patience and tenderness for his sister. It's okay, I'll be there soon, don't worry. You've always loved to jump around since you were little. You're going to be a mom, and you still don't know how to be careful. If I'm not watching you, you need to be careful. Chloe sent a crying cat emoji. You're being mean to me, I'm going to tell the baby you're a bad dad. Luckily, I'm not married. What if my husband was like you, wouldn't that be terrible? I can't change my bad habits, so why don't you come to my place and watch over me? Michael was outrageously indulgent. All right, my little princess calls the shots, you're the boss now. You refused my proposal back then, saying you didn't want to marry. Was it because you were worried about this? Don't you trust my character? If it were you, I would cherish you dearly. Chloe, you're truly different to me. Tears splattered onto the screen with a pat sound, and I couldn't even see the words anymore. My phone chimed. Michael had sent a message. Office emergency, have to go on a business trip for a few days. Take care of yourself, I'll be back. A searing pain shot through my chest. Those words pierced me like poison arrows, leaving me utterly raw. So, my presence was merely to fill the role of wife. Even the marriage itself was something Chloe had stepped aside for. I walked numbly out of the room and took down the wedding photos from the wall. Staring at Michael's smiling face in the picture, I remembered what Chloe had said during that photo shoot. Michael actually chose this wedding dress? I only mentioned it casually. Grace, don't worry, my brother is so thoughtful. I said I wanted to take wedding photos by the sea, girls all love romance, he must have remembered, and he executed it so perfectly, I really envy you. Sweet memories played out before my eyes. All that betrayal and deception, the signs had been there all along. I called my lawyer friend. Please send me a copy of the divorce papers. The husband committed infidelity during the marriage, he is the guilty party. At dawn, I took a cab to the hospital for an abortion procedure. I had hoped for this child for 2 years. He finally came, but it was at the wrong time. After paying the fees, I gently touched my barely noticeable belly. Baby, don't blame mommy. I overheard the nurse's envious whispers. Is patient 203 just pregnant? Why is her husband so anxious? He even asked if our hospital had a childbirth simulation machine, saying he wanted to experience his wife's labor pain, to empathize with her. In my 10 years of working here, I've only met one good man like this. Indeed, it's not that happy marriages don't exist, it's just that we don't have that luck. If I met someone like him, I'd definitely snatch him up and never let go. As if guided by fate, I found myself walking to room 203. A small pane of glass reflected Michael's anxious profile. A nurse had just entered to change medication. He immediately grabbed her. What is this medicine? Are you sure it's safe for pregnant women? Chloe is pregnant, don't give her the wrong medicine. The nurse looked exasperated. Sir, is this your first time being a father? I've seen men who care for their wives, but never to this extent. Don't worry, this is the obstetrics and gynecology department, I'm a professional. Chloe blinked playfully. Michael, did you hear what she said? Husband Michael blushed like an inexperienced teenager. I heard. Don't move around. My dead heart felt as if it had been dug out and cut into 1,000 pieces again. I even forgot to breathe. The moment I was about to enter the operating room, I made one last phone call to Michael. I wanted to ask him where he was. I thought, pathetically and desperately, that if he just told me the truth. If he just told me the answer, I might even consider treating Chloe's child as my own. But the phone rang again and again. In the hospital room, Michael's frown deepened. Why won't she stop calling? Didn't I say I was on a business trip? Chloe whispered, is it Grace? Maybe you should answer? So she doesn't worry. Michael instantly grew impatient. No need, if I answer, she'll never stop talking. It's always asking what I ate or if I slept well last night, it's so annoying. After getting married, she calls to check up on me every day. People who know say I'm married, people who don't would think I found myself a mother. Even isn't this naggy? When the 10th call came through, Michael simply turned his phone off. Chloe gently tugged his arm, pressing her face against his chest. Michael, I heard that after pregnancy, a woman's body changes. Do you want to try? Who has a better figure, me or Grace? Last time I asked you, you didn't answer. Were you afraid I'd be angry? I promise I won't be angry. Michael smiled helplessly and indulgently, playfully flicking her nose. You have the best figure in the world. Otherwise, how could I, a man of such simple desires, always succumb to temptation? Grace has no passion at all. Every time we get in bed, it annoys me, like completing a task. My phone almost slipped from my hand and crashed to the floor. I could accept that my husband didn't love me, that he betrayed me. But the one thing I couldn't stand was him demeaning me in front of the third party who was destroying our marriage. As if the 2 years of marriage, which I had poured my heart into, were a joke. Behind me, the doctor began calling out names. Is here? Your procedure can begin. I slowly turned around, no longer watching. The procedure was over 3 hours later. When I came out, the anesthesia hadn't worn off, and I could barely stand straight. As I took the procedure invoice and prepared to leave the hospital, I bumped into Michael, who was bringing food to Chloe. His smile froze at the corners when he saw me, and his face instantly darkened. Why are you here? Are you following me? Before I could speak, Chloe bounced out of the room. Michael, why are you so slow? I'm starving. Grace? Why are you here? Please don't be angry, I asked Michael to take care of me. I lowered my gaze. Just passing by. After all, we're getting divorced soon, so there's no need to follow you. I leaned against the wall and turned to leave. Chloe rushed forward to grab me. Grace, are you still mad? Michael, hurry and coax her. It was your fault to begin with. Michael's face turned completely cold. Coax her about what? She came here herself, whose fault is that? It's perfectly natural for me to take care of my sister. As for her, she's so petty, she can't even tolerate my family. Let her be, let her do whatever she wants. Turning my back, I took a deep breath. Hearing those words firsthand actually brought a sense of relief. I got into the elevator, and Chloe followed me in. Before the doors closed, she put on an act of being concerned for us, eagerly explaining, Grace, my brother said those things in anger, you absolutely mustn't take them to heart. I'll give him a good talking to for you later. As the elevator doors closed, she forcefully threw her hand away, no longer bothering to act. Grace, you know everything, don't you? You know I'm pregnant with Michael's baby. You specifically came to the hospital, and now that you've seen the truth, you should give up. If I hadn't stubbornly refused his proposal back then, do you think my brother would have married you? I didn't look at her, scoffing with disdain. Is that so? Then congratulations, you've picked up this trash again. When the elevator reached the first floor, she lunged at me like a madwoman, pulling and tugging. During the struggle, she deliberately fell to the ground. As the doors opened, she began to scream, Michael! Michael! Help me! My stomach hurts so much. She was sure Michael would chase after us, running down the stairs in a panic. And indeed, Michael would never let her lose. Push in. Me aside, Michael picked her up in his arms. He handed her over to the doctors who had followed him. Only after seeing Chloe disappear into the operating room did he turn to glare at me. Grace, it's time we talked. Let's get a divorce. As you can see, you never listen to my explanations anyway. The sharp pain in my abdomen left me no strength to speak. As I tried to walk past him, he snatched my bag, throwing it to the ground. Explanations? I saw you push Chloe with my own eyes. What more explanation is needed? Divorce, divorce. What else can you do besides threaten me with divorce? Do you really think I don't dare to divorce you? Fine, let's divorce. Don't you dare come begging me to come back later. He pushed me aside, intending to pay the fees, and I lost my footing, falling to the ground, pulling the procedure invoice out of my bag. Bystanding patients' family members couldn't bear to watch. Sir, no matter how angry you are, you shouldn't hit people. Isn't this domestic violence? Michael was surrounded, his fury intensifying. Grace, why are you playing the victim? I didn't even touch you. The doctor who had just finished my procedure was changing shifts and seeing the scene before him. His face turned pale with fright. He rushed over to pull Michael away. What are you doing? The patient just had an abortion procedure, are you trying to kill her? Michael's gaze was fixed on the doctor's face, his pupils suddenly contracting. What did you say? An abortion procedure? The doctor was startled by Michael's fierce demeanor but still shielded me. Sir, your wife just had an abortion, her body is very weak. Even if you have conflicts, you should wait until she recovers. An abortion? My wife got pregnant and had an abortion, and I, her husband, only just found out from you. Have you ever seen such a shameless wife? Have you ever seen such a useless husband as me? Michael suddenly turned to look at me, his hands clenching audibly. Grace. You're pregnant? Don't you owe me an explanation? I leaned against the wall and stood up straight, the pain from the fading anesthesia spreading through my abdomen. Every movement felt like razor blades scraping inside. When did this happen? He seemed completely oblivious to my distress. Pressing closer, his bloodshot eyes swelled with rage. Why didn't you tell me? I'm your husband. The murmurs from the crowd grew louder, but he seemed not to hear, grabbing my wrist. What you said at the family dinner was true. You really found someone else? This child isn't mine? Speak up. Say something. His grip on me made my bones ache, but I suddenly laughed. Michael, you're still concerned about that right now? Shouldn't I be concerned? He roared, throwing my hand away. What have I, Michael, ever done to wrong you? Why would you degrade yourself like this, making me look like I'm being cheated on? He had always turned a blind eye to my suffering. Yet, Chloe's slightest frown could cause him immense heartache. Every single instance was a reason. But now, there was no need to say any of these words aloud. The doctor quickly stepped between us. Sir, calm down. The patient cannot be agitated. Get out of the way. Michael pushed the doctor aside. I want to hear it, how she explains this bastard child. Grace, I trusted you so much, I never doubted you, but you chose to betray me. How can you face me? I looked at his distorted face, feeling as though my insides were twisting. In his eyes, all the grievances I suffered were less significant than an imagined instance of me being cheated on. Explain? I wiped a streak of blood from the corner of my mouth, my voice light as a feather. Aren't we getting a divorce? Does it matter whose child it is? What do you mean? He froze. It means. I straightened my back, meeting his gaze. You never cared if I was actually pregnant, only if your pride was being shattered, just as you never asked if I was tired, only tea. Hinking I should always tolerate your dear sister. Even now, the doctor says I'm weak and need rest, but you only ask whose child I aborted, never once caring about me. Grace! He roared, reaching for me, but was held back by the surrounding patient's family members. What's wrong with you? An aunt pointed her finger at him, scolding, she just had an abortion. You, her husband, don't feel for her and yet you're causing a scene here? Exactly. Who treats their wife like that? Michael struggled, roaring, what do you know? She's pregnant with someone else's child. I'm a man, I can't tolerate this. Grace, you are utterly shameless. The crowd instantly quieted, several scornful gazes piercing me. I'm shameless? I suddenly laughed, breaking free from the doctor's support, and slapped Michael across the face. The sharp crack of the slap stunned everyone. And what about you? I pointed at his chest, my voice trembling with anger. Why are you here at the hospital? Dare you explain it clearly in front of everyone? Michael covered his face, stepping back half a step, his eyes flustered. I came to pick up medicine for Mom. Medicine? Mom's medicine has always been picked up by me personally. Do you even know where the pharmacy window is? Michael, how ridiculous you look lying. Don't you want to look in a mirror? I sneered. Chloe is in room 203 with your child, and if I hadn't come to the hospital, I would still be kept in the dark by you. What right do you have to accuse me? His face instantly turned pale. You know everything? Know what? That you said you were on a business trip, but you were actually at the hospital with your pregnant sister? Or that the husband I've loved for so many years has a side of filth hidden beneath his gentle facade that I've never seen? I pressed closer, tears splashing onto the floor. When you were lying next to me, were you thinking about how to take care of another woman? Michael, when you were doing all these things, did you think about me for even 1 second? Chloe and I are just what? I cut him off. Just siblings? Do siblings sleep in the same bed? Do siblings have a child together? Gasps rippled through the crowd, and the scornful glances immediately shifted direction. Michael's face turned beet red. It's perfectly natural for me to take care of my sister. Should I have left her alone at the hospital? So I should have had an abortion procedure alone? I pointed towards the operating room. When I was lying in there just now, you were feeding her soup, weren't you? He opened his mouth but couldn't utter a single word. You said I was suspicious and that I was making a fuss over nothing. I laughed, tears in my eyes, but dare you say your concern for Chloe is truly just sibling affection? She wore my wedding dress, and you said she was naive. She slept in our marital bed, and you called it a tradition. She pointed her finger at me and called me a frumpy wife, and you said she was young. Michael, what am I to you? Do you even remember that I'm only 1 year younger than Chloe? He suddenly grabbed my arm. Grace, listen to my explanation. Chloe and I were an accident. Even if I was in the wrong first, the child is innocent. Chloe just got pregnant, you pushed her. What if 2 lives were lost? Could you bear that responsibility? Don't talk about accidents with me, it makes me sick. I flung his hand away. There's security camera footage in the elevator. You can go see for yourself who started it. Believe me or not, it's up to you. Anyway, in your heart, I've always been the one bullying your sister. Michael, this marriage has been so suffocating. With that, I turned and walked away. This time, he didn't follow. Returning to the empty house, the wedding photos on the wall had long been taken down by me, leaving only a faint light mark. Michael had lived here for 2 years and hadn't even noticed this abnormality. Perhaps in his heart, every one but Chloe was just dispensable air. My phone chimed, a notification from the lawyer with the divorce papers. I printed it, signed it, took a photo, and sent it to him, typing a message, please finalize the divorce procedures as soon as possible. Michael's message was almost instantaneous. In 2 years of marriage, this was the only time, and it was to discuss our divorce. Grace, stop making a fuss, I don't want a divorce. Let's talk when I get home. I looked at the screen and laughed, throwing my phone aside. This wait lasted another entire night. The next morning, Chloe's Facebook post updated. The photo showed Michael in an apron making soup in the kitchen, with the caption, "Brothers loving breakfast, 100 times better than the hospitals." I curved my lips in self-mockery. Even a divorce had to come after Chloe. I'll be moving out this afternoon. I sent him a message, if you want to discuss the divorce, come back as soon as possible. Otherwise, contact my lawyer directly. An hour later, the doorknob suddenly turned. Michael rushed in, his eyes red, and grabbed me. Grace, I'm sorry. I lost my head in anger at the hospital yesterday. Let go. I expressionlessly pulled away from him. I know I was wrong. He held me tightly. Chloe's child was an accident. I was drunk that day. An accident? She insisted on not marrying, and Mom and Dad were pressuring me. He quickly explained, she said she wanted a child, and I was afraid she'd be tricked by some other man. I thought since we're family, why not you yourself? I pushed him away, laughing, my body trembling. Michael, do you think I've gone crazy? I thought you would understand. He said urgently, we can let Mom and Dad raise the child after it's born, and we can go back to how things were, okay? How things were. I pointed to the door. Are you talking about the days when she constantly intruded on our home, and we argued every other day? His eyes flickered. I promise I won't let her bother us anymore. Have you watched the elevator security camera footage? I suddenly asked. He froze. I was busy taking care of Chloe. I haven't had time yet, so you still think I pushed her? I picked up my suitcase. There's nothing more to say. Let's get a divorce. Grace. He grabbed my suitcase. I've explained everything, why are you still leaving? It's just one child, do you really have to be so petty? Yes. I looked into his eyes, saying each word clearly, I'm not that generous. I can't tolerate my own husband having a child with another woman. Then what about the child in your belly? He suddenly roared, no matter whose it is, as long as you keep it, I can pretend nothing ever happened. I laughed as if I'd heard the biggest joke. That's not generosity, it's because you don't love me at all. I love you. If you loved me, you wouldn't have let me suffer so much. I pulled open the door. Michael, it's been 2 years, I've had enough. Chloe and I were really just an accident. He roared behind me, as long as the child is born, I'll never see her again, wouldn't that work? I stopped, turning to look at him. I saw the chat history on your laptop. His face instantly turned ashen. You called her your little princess, and you said getting in bed with me felt like completing a task. My eyes read, were those accidents too? And her wearing my wedding dress, sleeping in our marital bed, and every time you made me tolerate her. Michael, do you really think I know nothing? You never remember that I hate scallions and ginger, but you always remember Chloe's seafood allergy, so there's never any seafood at the Taylor family dinner. I'm a germaphobe, but you always come in and sit on the sofa in your outdoor clothes, and every time you do, I have to clean and disinfect for ages. Chloe calls late at night saying her stomach hurts, and you drop everything, even a movie with me, to go be with her. But when it rains and I don't have an umbrella, you're never available when I call. This is your so-called innocent sister. Whether it's deliberate or coincidental, you know better than anyone. He opened his mouth, unable to speak for a long time. I didn't know she would do that. Why have you never said any of this? Would telling you have made a difference? The moment I walked out the door, his frantic shouts came from behind me. If you leave, what about Chloe? What will people think of her, pregnant and unmarried? Please, I'm begging you, let's talk about divorce after Chloe's child is born, okay? The sarcasm in my heart almost drowned my reason. He was pleading with me, not out of love. Not because he couldn't bear to lose me. Only because he was afraid Chloe's reputation would be damaged. I dragged my suitcase out of the house. In your heart, I'll always come last. Michael, I'm truly exhausted, so very tired. After that day, Michael started calling me frantically. One drunken night, his voice thick with emotion, Grace, I was wrong, please come back? I hung up directly, blocked all his contact information, leaving only one message, contact my lawyer for any matters. The next day, Margaret's call came in, her tone softer than ever before. Grace, Mom knows I was wrong. We indulged Chloe too much in the past. She's pregnant with Michael's child, we just found out too. She sighed, look at her, a young girl, she can't raise a child alone, can she? Michael still cares about you, Mom is begging you, don't get a divorce. If he cared about me, he wouldn't have betrayed me. I said calmly, congratulations, you'll be grandparents soon, that's wonderful. As for me, Michael's nominal wife, there's no need for me to exist anymore. A sharp sound came from the other end, as if a phone had been thrown to the ground. Marcus angrily cursed, this just doesn't know what's good for her. Now what? Are we really going to let Chloe raise a child by herself? How can Michael not then coax a woman properly? If we had known this would happen today, it would have been better to have Chloe as our daughter-in-law, what a waste of effort. When the child is born, our family will be cursed by the neighbors. If people find out about her relationship with Michael, how will we ever face anyone again? Margaret quickly intervened. Don't say another word, the call's still connected. It was about Chloe again. From beginning to end, I never truly belonged in this family. The things I once yearned for, but could never attain, no longer mattered to me. I proactively hung up the phone and blocked all numbers belonging to the Taylor family. I heard that during that period, Michael was like a madman, shutting himself in his room all day. Chloe called him, trying to charm him, but he never went to the hospital, merely saying coldly, don't bother me. When called for the 10th time, she guessed I was divorcing Michael. Brother? Is really angry? Didn't you explain it to her? Women are usually so easy to appease. Actually, I've wanted to say this for a while now. I feel that Grace. She's too narrow-minded, she's simply not suited to be part of the Taylor family home. I also often noticed her secretly bad-mouthing Mom to her friends, but back then you liked her, and I was afraid of affecting your relationship, so I didn't dare say anything. Veins bulged on Michael's hands, and his forehead pulsed. He couldn't believe I was the malicious person Chloe described. Once the seed of doubt was planted, it would sprout and spread unchecked. Later, he went to the hospital, not to see Chloe, but directly to the security camera footage room. When he saw the security camera footage of Chloe intentionally falling, he squatted on the ground and cried like a child. That day, he drank heavily and suddenly remembered the only time we had been intimate last month. He was completely drunk, remembering nothing when he woke up. When the scene flashed before his eyes, his breathing stopped. He frantically sought out my lawyer friend and asked, trembling, Grace. She wasn't cheating at all, was she? The lawyer looked at him and sighed. Grace has never had another man in her life besides you. I've known Grace for many years, you were her first love, but you hurt her terribly deeply. In that moment, Michael completely broke down. He rushed to our office, only to learn that I had already resigned from my job to prepare for pregnancy. A colleague said, Grace was in line for a promotion, but she was determined to give it up for the sake of having a child. You're her husband, and she loves you most of all. If you have time, try to persuade Grace, she shouldn't lose her job. He went to the restaurant where we had our first date. The street corner where we first held hands. Every place where we shared memories, yet he could no longer find a trace of me. We met again in the courtroom. I presented the chat logs from his laptop and Chloe's prenatal exam report, saying calmly, I demand a divorce. Michael cheated during our marriage and must leave with nothing. Michael kept his head down the entire time. Only when the judge brought down the gavel did he look up at me. His voice was hoarse, are we really going to do this? I didn't answer. The day I received the divorce certificate, he sent me a text message. It was from a new number. Grace, I've taken care of Chloe's child. Will you come back? I'll give you everything. After reading it, I immediately blocked the number and booked the earliest flight to abroad. I heard that Michael later moved back into that empty house. The uncleaned rooms were covered in dust, wrinkled clothes piled on the sofa, and the refrigerator contained only expired milk. He often sat in the empty living room, staring blankly at a faint mark on the wall. Neighbors said they often heard him crying in the middle of the night. They told me not to just focus on work, but to go home and visit when I had time. Ev. And now, he's still keeping the news of our divorce a secret from everyone. But none of that concerned me anymore. Some people, once missed, are simply missed. Too little, too late.